Hi crafty friends, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is day 2 of Spellbinders Crafty Advent Calendar. And we have this, or I have this fun little card that we did some heat emboss resist technique on it. And so let's get opening this calendar. It's super cute. Let's go to day 2. Like I said in yesterday's video, I will not be doing every single day because that's just a lot of videos, but I will be doing them throughout the month. But here we have this cute little stamp of some flowers, and it has a sentiment. So I am using some Honeybee Stamp Holiday Wishes cardstock, along with some shaped dies from Spellbinders. I will have that listed and linked below because I don't remember what they're called. I'm very sorry. And I have die cut from white cardstock. The patterned paper, I'm going to die cut from a red cardstock because I want to have this layered effect with these, kind of like infinity dies, I guess you could call them. I am using wild cherry cardstock for my red. It's kind of my go-to. It's like a really good red cardstock. This is from Cardstock Warehouse. And then we have our little stamp that we're going to stamp on that piece of white cardstock. This is Neenah cardstock, and we're going to do the emboss resist technique. So I'm just kind of checking all my options here with how many layers I want to do. I'm going to put this in my MISTI. I don't want the whole part of it covered with this floral stamp. So I opted to do 2 opposing corners. And this is really a quick and easy technique. It's really, really pretty. I'm using Cherry and Sage ink from Simon Says Stamp. But first, let's get our stamping going. I have this in place. I'm going to prep it with my powder tool because we're going to do heat embossing. I'm going to use white embossing powder because I think that's kind of the fun of the emboss resist. It's like the background and then you ink blend over it and your little image pops. So there I've stamped one side. I'm going to flip it around, line it up, and I don't have to move the stamp. It's just going to stamp the other side. So ink that up with a clear embossing ink. And then I'm going to sprinkle on the white embossing powder and heat it with my heat tool until it's shiny and melted. And then we can do a little bit of that ink blending. I will be using some small blender brushes because this is a smaller image and I'm using 2 different colors on it. Let's put my things away really quick. And then especially when you're doing white embossing powder, you kind of need to check in the light if there's any dull areas, which I found. Heat it up again just really quickly, but don't overheat your embossing powder because then it will go dull as well and kind of melt away into the paper. So here's that cherry ink. I'm ink blending on the part that's the flowers, and then I will come in with the sage ink for the leaves. This is why I'm using a small blender brush because I can get into those areas much easier. But look at how pretty that is. Now, one of the big factors when you do this is when you're done ink blending, take a dry rag and gently buff off the embossing powder for any of the ink that sits on top, and you can see how much that kind of cleared up that image. And that's going to go right in the center. So very, very pretty. It's a Christmas feel, but it says sending good thoughts, so it could be for any time, really, and for any reason. I'm going to splatter the background with some of that cherry ink. I just put it on my work surface, added a little bit of water, and do a little bit of splattering. I'm going to clean that up with some water really quick, and then we can start putting this card together. In my MISTI, I want to stamp the sentiment. This says sending good thoughts. And I actually decided to, and I'm sorry, I still was zoomed in, so you guys are not going to see me stamp it all that great. I apologize. But I am using black ink, and I'm going to trim that out with scissors. I'm just going to fussy cut that. Now let's layer this card together. We have our red piece, our patterned paper here. I was deciding if I wanted the stripes or the florals, but I want the florals. So I can center that. This will have foam tape behind it. You guys know how much I love dimension on my cards. So some foam sticky strips from scrapbook.com always does the job. I'm going to center that. And then kind of in that open area in the center is where I want to put my sentiment. So again, that's going to have some dimension. And then I definitely want to finish my card off with some little sequins. So I'm using Studio Katia's Gold Foil Confetti, my favorite. I know I use it all the time. You guys are probably sick of me using it, but it's my favorite, and I just think it adds a little something extra. So let's add a few of these around. I'm gonna do 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. I'm just kind of following the open white area. And I love the splatters on the background. I think that really added a little something extra. Let's use the Barely Art liquid glue and my embellishment wand to put those in place. This always goes nice and quick. And then let's take a look at this card up close. Super cute, very simple, very quick, but really a stunning effect. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a fun crafting holiday and Merry Christmas. Bye.